Here's a good example of autopilot, hardware 1, driving in poor visibility state. I'm on my way to work right now on a freeway. We've got some rain that's kind of making the roads hard to see, and you can see that the autopilot is kind of picking up on a line here and there, sometimes following the lead vehicle, sometimes following the line. Here, this car just got in front of us. Which, by the way, autopilot has no way to adapt for cars that want to come in or something. The incoming car has to commit, and then the autopilot will avoid it. But anyway, that's something for future updates. But yeah, this is definitely a limitation of visually based, actually as well as LiDAR based autopilot hardware suites. LiDAR does not see through particle, I don't want to say blockers, but you know, particles in the air, and the cameras don't either. So of course it has the radar, which can see the vehicles in front of it, which is super helpful. And one of the reasons that I actually still use some variant of autopilot or cruise control, even during those situations, because it can see actually a little farther than I can. But it was ping-ponging in between the lanes a little bit because it couldn't see him as well as I could. And the other thing that autopilot doesn't do is it doesn't comprehend, or it can't, I don't know what the word is, but it doesn't factor in a road surface condition. So this is recent rain. It's been dry for a while here, so you know there's probably like oil and other contaminants on the road. It could be slipperier, so in those conditions, you know, you want to drive more cautiously. You don't accelerate as fast, maybe you don't follow a car as quickly, which of course you can, or as closely, of course you can adjust that with the little lever here. But I'm just saying, autopilot just drives the way it always drives. It usually like goes pretty close to a vehicle when it needs to stop, and sort of stops fairly aggressively, and same thing with acceleration. So that's why I especially don't use autopilot in the winter when there's snow on the ground or it's icy, because it's just gonna slip all over the place. If it's slippery, it won't be able to stop in time. The car will just slip. But anyway, so those are some limitations that I've noticed, basically related to weather. But it's, even despite that, it's become instinctive for me to engage autopilot, just because I'm so used to it being convenient when, especially on freeways, when there's a long stretch or the cars are just a little bit too close for comfort. There's just, you know, it's starting to get a little trafficky, and so I like the assistance of autopilot, you know, that's always aware and always, like even now, see, I'm starting to have to slow down, and I don't want to have to deal with that, so just switch on autopilot and let it do its thing. And I know when autopilot is good. I know the situations when autopilot is good and when it's going to get confused. So I know when I can be confident and when not.